the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. Let rain fall, let rain
Good afternoon and welcome back to Laurel Park, and thank you for joining us on the Sunday edition of Today at the Races. I'm Gabby Gaudette, joined by Keith Fustel, and we had 10 races yesterday.
Yes.
It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
We got to the turf, and we have no carryovers today because they took it all away from us.
They took it down. A couple were live in the last, and they got it done. Yeah, Northern Eclipse yesterday, a favorite. They were able to link that one into the last. Ice-T, our video spotlight, got it done yesterday at a good price. But no.
Did you pick that horse on top?
I picked him second. I was so mad at myself. I was like, why did you just put him on top?
And you know what?
And a claim for Kieran. I think that horse is going to move on and win. Yeah.
No, it was a very impressive winner yesterday. But Stan and I played the pick six, and that was the only horse we didn't have. We would have taken it. We would have split it with the other person who took it down for 8,000, 8,500.
Well, you would have caused a carryover then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, huh?
That's.
All right. Well,
you don't listen to the old guy here.
Another day. I know we should have definitely used Ice-T, but it was a fun day. As we said, the pick 5 was hit for $800. The pick 6, they took it all down yesterday for $8,500. So we start anew today and a glorious day.
Beautiful.
At that. Great card today too. This was tough. This was a very tough card.
Good betting card. We've got one or two horses along the way that look like they're singles, but man, they're awfully vulnerable. That horse Bang of Trombetas later on is probably going to be a single for a lot of people in their multi-race gimmicks. So, yeah, tread lightly.
Michael Matz made into
exactly. Kind of called outside. Yep.
So we'll get through them piece by piece, but we wanted to backtrack to yesterday.
Yeah.
Here we had the All-American Handicapping Challenge, so just wanted to congratulate the top 3 finishers, Brian Nortel, Michael Webb, and Michael Ryan. Those were the top 3 finishers yesterday. It was a challenging card, but of course you had to get it was a mythical win play $2 mythical win place bet for the last 5 races on the card. So congratulations to those 3, especially Brian Nortel for taking it all away. We'll take a look at less than a week from today. We've got the 100,000 Stormy Blues Stakes, also the $75,000 Caveat Stakes, and the Pearl Necklace Stakes. That is Saturday, July 15th, and mark your calendars for July 30th, I believe it is.
There it is.
And that is the Laurel Park Crab Feast. So you can come out here. That happens from 1 to 5 p.m. on the grandstand apron. And cold beer, hot steamed crabs, live DJ, live racing. If you don't like crabs, there's plenty of other food to eat.
Yeah. What more do you want? Crabs, beer, gambling.
Yeah.
That's it.
It sounds good to me.
Pretty much the 3 staples of life if you're in Maryland, I guess.
I would agree with you, especially during the summer. So come out and enjoy that. We'll take a look now at our featured wagers and our carryovers. No carryovers, as I mentioned at the top of the show, but we have that late pick 5 that starts in the 6th race. We've got the Rainbow 6 that starts in the 5th, and we've got that Rolling Super High 5 that takes place in races of 7 or more betting interest, happens throughout the afternoon. Speaking of the afternoon, well, it's going to be a beautiful one. Taking a look outside, we're going to get into probably the high 80s. It's going to be sunny. We are fast and firm. 10 races on tap.
10 races on tap. One thing I did notice yesterday, a little bit on the outer portion of the turf course, looked like there was a little bit more give to the ground than the inner. I know they rolled that inner. I called that earlier yesterday, but I think this weather's just been perfect. This turf will firm up a little bit, and we've got a beautiful fast track firm turf course, and like 82, slight breeze.
It is
Humidity is
beautiful.
low. It's gorgeous.
They said
Yeah.
on the news this morning that this is probably going to be one of the best days of the summer. So come on out to the racetrack and spend. What better to do than spend a beautiful
I
day?
better win then.
Yeah, exactly. But we are on the Exceller and the bowl game in terms of our turf lanes today. And let's just dive right into
Okay.
it. This is a tremendous card, so we'll start it off with the opener. That does begin the progression of the rolling super high 5, and of course that 50-cent early pick 5 as well with an industry low takeout. So we head out to the Exceller. 5.5 furlongs on the turf for the 16,000 conditional claimer, and we'll start it off. I believe you wanted to go back and take a look at Sunrise Sunset.
Yeah, let's go take a look at him. Last time out off a little bit of a layoff from April to June, returned to the turf in a pretty good effort, breaking from down in that rail position. We're going to let it roll here, guys. Sunrise Sunset kind of comes away in pretty good order, shows some speed. He has flashed some speed in the past, and he got that confidence builder for the nickel. But as we see it time and time again in these 5.5 furlong dashes on the turf, it's awfully tough from the inside to get that position, maintain it without encountering some kind of traffic. You saw horses drop over on him there. He had to check pretty sharply. And you pick him up about 5th now through the stretch in the white cap, angling out for room, has to hesitate, comes along a little bit of a wall of horses there. And Hamilton late, almost like a little bit of a protect. Let's save him for another day. He's willingly up between horses. Didn't want to put him in any more jeopardy up on horses' heels. I think he comes back now, moves off the rail a little bit, has that tactical speed. There's some speed to the inside with zipping by to his outside. I think he'll flow into a good trip. You're going to get a better price on him. Money's going to come in on Tightly Bridled and Animal Quiet. I still think he's going to settle him at 5-6, maybe even hedge up to that 8-1 morning line, Sunrise Sunset. Got the confidence builder on the dirt. Good stalking trip today. He's your price play in the opener.
I like it, and I mean his previous races sprinting on the turf don't inspire a lot of confidence, but that was against first level allowance horses prior to the layoff. So maybe he's just a little bit cheaper than what he was running in before,
Agreed.
right?
Yes,
and
agreed.
This is probably the perfect spot for him. Now, talking about a horse, the two Tightly Bridled.
Yeah.
I picked him. I mean, they protected him off of the layoff, putting him in for the waiver claiming. They got the victory, an easy victory. That was an easy field, though, and this isn't. It's not going to be the case today.
No. He steps it up a little bit where he's going to have to, move into a little bit quicker fractions. You see, comparatively, you look at that race where Animal Quiet, Sunrise Sunset comes out of the no-knock raid race, a little bit quicker early. Yeah, he just kind of cruised up to him last time at 4-5 and made it look like a 4-5 should. Interesting move, though. Back in now for the tag.
Yep.
The 12-5, just dangling this horse right in front of you. That's what I love about the claiming game. You got to decipher these moves from these trainers and these owners.
As a handicapper and as a claiming trainer, too.
Yeah,
right?
no doubt.
That's got to be difficult. The 8 Animal Quiet, you mentioned a little bit, had some trouble. 2 starts back and took a little bit of a class relief against non-winners of 3 for 16 last time out. Good performance, just got beat. I thought that this was a horse that you could potentially use in that early pick 5. Maybe use about 4 horses in the early pick 5.
He ran really well last time. Ran really hard, moved into the pace, had a little bit of a duel just up in front of him. Today he's got 2 speeds to his immediate, to the outside of him. He's going to get out there. He'll probably let those 2 go and get that same kind of tracking position he got last time. I'm just still a little concerned with that last little punch that he has if he's going to be able to kind of contain the closers. But a big effort last time out.
Big effort, yeah, I agree. The 11 Wayne Scott, he's going to be a forward factor in there, showed speed against tougher allowance company down at the fairgrounds. There's other speed in here, though, that he might have to contend with, so that was the main concern. But if he showed speed against first-level allowance horses, I think he might be able to sustain a little bit more than the other speed types in here. So
agreed.
We'll see how it all shakes out. But that is the opener once again to kick off that early pick 5. Super high 5 wagering is available as well. We'll take a look at the second. This is a open $5,000 claiming event going the 1-turn mile on the main track. And this is a race I think could go between several different horses. Keith, who did you wind up landing on?
I went through this race several different times, came up with several different horses to put on top. I ended up with Turbin, believe it or not. I don't know if he's not as consistently fast as the rest of this group, but you've got a bunch of horses with real similar running styles. They like to kind of stay close, make a move, and then grind out. It's Mongolian King, Tascadero, Whiskey Sour, Greek God, all very similar. Hard to split up when you break down the internals. I think Turbin back in the barn of Lacey Gaudet, back home, 2 tries going short. I know comes out of the condition and goes to the open 5. He fits here. He got the best of a Tascadero in 4 starts back. The flow is going to be right for him. I think he just grinds it out at a distance that he loves. He likes this 1-turn mile.
He loves the 1-turn mile. This is a horse who I like him second. I couldn't quite pick him on top because I don't know if he's right there in terms of class, but at the same token, I agree with you. I think he's going to fit the pace flow of the race. I like the fact that he gets added distance. 6 furlongs is just way too short for him. So the 1-turn mile is going to be much better for him. Katie Davis aboard, I think, should suit him as well. And that's what I agree with you. I think that the reason why I had trouble with this trip is because everybody's got similar running styles. A Tascadero, this is a horse who's been a little bit of a money burner lately. I couldn't possibly pick him on top. But Greek God, I think, is very honest, and he's gone against open claimers before. He's been competitive. He won the Open 5 back in February. He's a 4-time winner here at Laurel. He's okay at the 1-turn mile. So I think this is a horse that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Right. I mean, he, of all these horses, might be able to have the quickest turn of foot early. Him maybe a Tascadero, and he can carry the speed. He beat a Tascadero in a couple starts back. A reclaim for Trumbot. I don't worry about him really kind of falling off for him. This is the level where he belongs. This is a good, tough, competitive race. They all come home as maybe a price shot. I originally had him in the mix. He's another one that I don't know what happened last time, but you go 2-back race, he fits it well. Wide open second race.
Even Whiskey Sour, I mean, he's definitely capable of winning at this Open 5 level. Where he fits in the pace flow of the race is another question. I mean, it's, a lot of the time he gets himself in the game. Back in April, he didn't. He dropped back well off the pace. So he's kind of a head scratcher, too. It's a difficult race.
He looks like the type he's going to get maybe – he'll sit just off of the speeds. I don't think he's as fast as Mongolian King, Greek God, or even a Tascadero, so he may fall into that perfect trip. But now, going from Kieran to Sullivan, you've got to work that into the mix. He ran those 2 big races, those mid-70s. How will he adjust in the new surroundings, the new barn? Who knows?
That's a tough one.
Good one.
All right, I think you have to get through that race in the early pick 5 and the pick 4. Now I know why you went for the middle pick 4, which we'll get to in the 4th race. We'll take a look at the 3rd. This is a starter allowance optional claimer going out to the Exceller, a mile and a 16th as well. And the horse who figures to get a lot of play is way to the outside. Now, do take note, the 16 Machu Picchu Sky does draw in off the also eligible with a scratch. Make the rider Victor Carrasco on the 15 Lost Story. Alex Cintron is off all his mounts today. We'll take a look. Let's go back to Lost Story's last performance.
Yeah, this horse was able, he didn't show a lot of speed from the gate, but he was able to get position down the backstretch and under some nudging. There you see him in the gold, running about 7th, a little steady there with the shadow roll, the gold and the black silks, and really kind of lost momentum there. He was really finding his stride, leaving the 3/8, Gabby, and then he has to shift out, work through some traffic late. You're going to see him here kind of start leveling off, leaving the 8th pole under that left-handed stick by Torres, but comes right up on the top 2 late. This horse probably was going to be second, squeezed just and steady there very late, and galloped out well. Draws to the outside. I'm not really concerned about the outside draw for this horse. I think he can maybe just draft off the pace. A sweeping move might be to his benefit this afternoon.
Yeah, that was my concern, just because he's drawn kind of the rail post position the past couple of times. He's been able to get that ground-saving position throughout. With this outside post position, even if he breaks sharply, he's going to have to take back and somehow find, a little bit of space to save ground going into the first turn. I mean, he probably is the class here. He's probably the horse to beat, but the post position may make him vulnerable.
Right.
You think he might be vulnerable too. You land on the 3, Japonski.
I just, looking at the turf races yesterday, horses that were fairly close made those little middle moves, and they did okay. Japonski looks like he fits the bill perfectly. It kind of inherited the lead last time out at Monmouth, first time for a barn, and really moved up numbers-wise. I don't mind the distance, a little stretch out. King of the Jungle will be the target for Japonski. Then he keys up Map Room, some decent horses there. I think this horse fits, a little protect as well for Patty Farrell. I think this horse stalks, makes a move, and we'll have to kind of look in the rearview mirror for those closers. I think Jump Ship's going to be coming right along, and Lost Story as well.
This was a tough race, and I ultimately did land on the 11 Don't poke the cat. I've liked him in the past several starts, stretching out in distance. He gets a little less distance in the 9 furlongs last time out. He comes out of the same race behind Lost Story. Yes, Lost Story visually was a little bit more impressive, but I just hope he gets a similar trip where he was against Maiden Claiming Company 3 starts back, where he's not so far off of it. But I'll tell you, I did have a tough time with this race. The one Jump Ship is another one. He comes out of the Ned Evans. He doesn't seem like he's got a tremendous amount of early pace, and he's going to have to overcome that 1 for 20 record.
He's kind of right. He's raced himself back into shape, obviously, at the jump race and those 2 races. But, boy, what a class drop. You know, the Tortoise of Delaware has been kind of a key horse up there. Obviously, Rosebriar, he's hitting serious relief this afternoon. Like I say, Cute as a Button is another one. He overcame the 12 post last time. Leatherberry, a protect move up in class, got a win yesterday. I wouldn't leave him out of the mix. You're going to get a good price on Cute as a Button. Good race. The favorite, Vulnerable, all the way out there. But you got some live ones here. You hate the Jump Ship. Almost looks like the best horse on paper, but 1 for 20. You just,
I know.
You look at some of the, Forest Rim, Daniel Ledoux. He's run against some good horses.
And Clubman. I mean, this is a horse who's had a tendency to not have that follow through in the afternoon. He finally got the job done on the drop in class, but now for Jonathan Maldonado, source is by Not for Love. He's out of Lemon Drop Kid. I mean, the pedigree is kind of there, so we'll see. I thought that though there's a lot going on in that race, including the favorite posted to the outside. We'll get to the 4th race, 6 furlongs on the main track for this open $20,000 event. And this does kick off that middle pick 4, and you took a stab at it.
I did take a stab, and you know what? And Claudio, I trust. I'm going back to old Negrito to single it out. He looks like he's all or nothing to get it started, and we're going to spread middle 2. 3, 6, 7, 8 in race 5. It's good competitive turf race for those fillies and mares. 6 deep. Yeah, is that right? Really spreading in race 6. Yeah, in those in that 2-year-old filly race. Going to use the 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Very interested to see how this son of our daughter of Jimmy Creed goes. Well, Jimmy Creed didn't know him as a stallion. Boy, he's rolling right out of the gates as a stallion. 2 deep in race 7. Obviously going to use the heavy chalk Kabang, who will be down off of that 5-2 morning line. And Coach Matthew, I think his little drop is going to pick his head up. So $24 ticket. You get a lot there. Looks like a lot of numbers, but not a lot of price.
I'm
so
glad that
not
you.
cost.
Yeah, 6 race is tough. I'm glad you used 6 horses there. You're just going to have to close your eyes, cross your fingers, hope you make it through this first leg with the 5 Negrito, who absolutely loves Laurel, now claimed back into the barn of Claudio Gonzalez.
Yeah, this race, guy, you look at it, Daily News is scratched. Iredell I kind of liked a little bit. But you got some really kind of spotty form on the rest of the field, and Negrito being one. But Claudio's had this horse before. I went way back machine. He claimed this horse last summer at Timonium, got him back and raised him in a shorter period of time, about a month. I mean, he's back a little bit quicker today. But I liked how he showed a little bit more life last time, a little bit more speed. I don't think there's a ton of speed in here. He'll have a target of American Progress. If he's sharp, you look back at his numbers for Claudio, consistently lower 80s. That beats this field.
At one point, I feel like Negrito was very fast.
He was very fast.
Like way back when
Tim
he
Tulloch,
first started, when
Tim
Tim
Tulloch
Tulloch had him. Yeah, it was very, very fast. And he's kind of, that speed has tailed off along with his form kind of during the winter and the spring. But as you said, I think it is encouraging. I like this horse. I pick him second. I'm just going to I'm going to stick to the 8 Grandy Shores here. The old 9-year-old has made over $600,000 for Kenny Decker. He finally gets a class relief today, and I think it's much needed. I mean, you look in the running line, Seymour-Dini. Did you see the way Seymour-Dini ran recently? Wow.
Freakish. Yep.
That's a good one. Never Gone South. I just think it's a huge drop in class. He's got the back class, and I've always kind of thought that he's better going shorter than longer.
I agree. And like I say, the flow of this, he was up close, only a few lengths off of that 45-3. There's nobody really kind of with that blazing early speed, the confidence to drop in class. He was hung wide, might be able to tuck in a little bit more today. He's going to be tough, no doubt.
It's a tough race. We also have, in terms of the speed, perhaps American Progress. He just kind of has that speed and then fades, so it's not you don't really have a lot of confidence with that. The 7 Classic Salsa's really not that slow. He could find himself maybe a little bit closer to the pace. So, yeah, I do think, though, you like the 3 a little bit here, the 3 American Progress.
Yeah.
I just worry about the class level.
No, I agree. He's got one race kind of on the page that kind of gets him. him there. He's he's running okay, and I know he's going to go out.
Yes.
When trying to really guess the whole makeup of the race, I think he can go. Only got beat a couple lengths of Struth, and what's he been doing lately? Just beating the pants off everybody.
That's right. All right, that's 1 through 4. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the latter half of the card: 20-cent Rainbow 6, late pick 5, late pick 4. Right after this commercial break.
The best bets at Laurel Park are the pick 5s, and we have 2 of them. The early pick 5 starts in race 1 and is a mandatory payout. The late pick 5 is the last 5 races of the day and has carryover potential. Both pick 5s at Laurel Park have an industry low 12% takeout. The pick 5s at Laurel Park, your best bet.
Welcome back to Today at the Races, the Sunday edition. Now we get to the second half of the card, and we kick off the 20-cent Rainbow 6 in the 5th race today. Now, we don't have a carryover today. They took it all down yesterday for just shy of $8,500. So congratulations to that lone ticket holder. And we start anew today on the bowl game turf course, going the flat mile for the $16,000 conditional claimer. And this race, I don't know why I'm so partial to beaches and bourbon, but I am. And we'll go back.
It's
and
not a bad combination, right?
Yeah,
A little beach,
I would
bourbon.
like a little beach and bourbon right now. We'll take a look at this Bears performance last time out. I just think that Linda Albert's got her in really good form. She's putting the race off the layoff back in April, I thought was really, really impressive. I mean, she didn't face that much. She looked like, I remember you and I handicapping it, she looked like an omnifig in that race. But I thought she legitimized herself coming back in this performance.
She did. She got a lot of help up front, though. They went pretty quick, a contested pace, and kind of race fell in her lap. Zippity Gal was in there and dueled through pretty quick internals, and that's why I kind of use Zippity Gal in front of her throughout the selections. I think she's steady. I think she's improving beaches and bourbon. She shortens up a little bit. If things don't get too crazy up front, that could pretty much hurt her chances a little bit. But she's going well. You look at her last number. I probably got her lined a little bit too low, and Kieran lined a little bit high. When I really break it down, you just look at that first glance of a number, but she's kissing us, and she runs well here, and she's going to make a run into it.
All right, so instead you go to the 6th, Love You Back, second off the claim for Kieran McGee. The reason why I don't like this filly is because she had such a good win last time out. So why change things?
And that's usually my angle. That's my angle. You got me. That's my move, as Kramer said, right?
Yeah.
Stop short. Yeah, that's it. But that was the move.
So why the change?
Well,
what
because,
inspired you?
I mean, her best fig is on the grass, and it chased pretty quick internals, and it was a key race. I look back. War Poppy came back. A couple other horses ran back well, decent numbers. And I sat there and I said, there's no way she's going to win going long on the dirt. Looked at her breeding, and sure enough, she got a little bit of trouble as well, and still won going away. He figured her out. She protects her again, goes back. Her 68 on the turf is as good as anybody here. She obviously showed she could rate and finish. That's why.
Okay.
Again, every once in a while I kind of go.
Okay. Well, I hope it works out for you. I really, really do. I mean, I have no skin in the game in terms of the pick 6, so I do hope it works out for you. I'm actually going to use the 2 Katie's Horseplay one more time. She was coming off a freshening last out from April to June. I liked her last time out at a big price. I didn't like her performance. She just kind of faded. She got into a good position. There was no excuse. But maybe this is just a little bit of a better level for her. You look at the non-winners of 3 for 16, sprinting on the turf, 2 starts back, even prior to that. I don't know. I just kind of do like her, given the price that she'll be. You like the 3 Street Miz. I definitely don't think that she's impossible. She's getting a huge class relief from her last race.
Numbers going in the right directions, comes out of those open races and comes back to the condition 3 in life for the most part. Yeah, Shirley's Curls, 4 races back, comes back to win the state bred allowance. Her rally has to be timed perfectly. She's a real tweener when it comes to distance, finding the right spot for her. For is it 5.5? Is it a mile? I'm not quite so sure, but I think if they just hold patiently and make the right move at the right time, I think she hits the board.
All right, we'll turn the page to the 6th race, a very nice 2-year-old maiden special weight for the fillies, 5 furlongs on the main track. And this does kick off that 50-cent late pick 5 with that industry low takeout, so dive on in. This is a race that I do think I like the pick 5 sequence, and I think if I were playing the pick 5 sequence, I could feel confidently in just using 3 horses here, the 5, 8, and the 9.
5, 8, and 9. Okay.
That's who I would take
they're
a stab
3 of my
at.
top 4.
Yeah?
Definitely usable. I mean, Hip Hop's the horse I throw into the mix for Sosman. I actually saw her work over at Timonium, got into the stride real quick. She has an early burst. Hip Hop, I think she breaks well. Toledo had a choice. I think he opted for Hip Hop. That'll be an interesting to watch from the inside. But let's talk about the 9 a little bit. Chauncey for Ham Smith by Jimmy Creed. We mentioned earlier in the show. I didn't know a whole lot about Jimmy Creed, but he won the Malibu, the Grade 1 Malibu, beat Private Zone. And his horses have come out like gangbusters, these 2-year-olds, 3 for 6 with the first-time starters. The works are steadily improving. Looking at the foals out of this mare, they did real well early. They were very versatile, little tail off late. But, yeah, no, seeing the way the stallion's going right now, I'll give him a slight edge over the Sagamore horse.
And is kin to a Grade 3 winner, I believe, and worth repeating. So there's that. Also, $115,000 purchase at the OBS April sale. And I went back and I watched the workout at the sale. Huge stride
Really?
this little
Okay.
filly had. So I wouldn't say she was well within herself. I mean, she was kind of going all over the place.
Yeah.
But a huge stride. You think that Hammy Smith has prepared her in the time being. She went 10-1. That the fastest time was 9-3 for $1 million horse that sold at the OBS April sale. So there are a lot of things to like about Chauncey. However, Hammy Smith, I looked up a stat with 2-year-old first-time starters sprinting on the dirt, only 5 for 51. That said, she draws an excellent outside post position. I mean, if you have a first-time starter going 5 furlongs, he kind of won an outside post position. I instead landed on the 8 proportionality for Horacio de Paz. No surprise here. What great work that Horacio does with his 2-year-olds this year, last year, wherever that you find them. The mare is actually a half to Paula Silver Lining. So I thought that was a decent pedigree note. Paula Silver Lining, a multiple Grade 1 winner, Humana de Staff, Madison.
Yes.
So there's a really nice pedigree there.
Yeah, and all metal. She got the job done in her second start and ran fast. It was, I think she made her start as a 3-year-old, but did it on the dirt. I believe it might have been in Pimlico, but one clear and one ran like a lower to mid-70s number. Yeah, second foal here, 3-year-old sibling that is unraced, but just looking at the percentages, the way this barn does it, you've got to completely respect the 8. And we were told he's got other ones in,
better ones.
Yeah, better ones
Then
along
he
the
hate
way.
me.
So yeah, so we'll see
We'll
if she
see.
if she fits the bill. Yeah, good wide open race here. And then Warchweed, you got the other Hammy Smith, might be the higher price Hammy Smith, but I did happen to see Jerry Roman strolling in today. So could
all
that be
right.
an indicator
be a
that he
good
made a little
sign.
bit of a road trip? Well, so we'll see.
I
don't know.
I'm not going to give up on the 5 Carson City coin just yet because she was having some really impressive workouts prior to her debut, and unfortunately, she just absolutely caught a ringer first time out in limited view. That might have been one of the most impressive 2-year-old performances we've seen in the past couple of months. They almost went a full second faster than the boys that day. So blinkers on. She's got one race under her belt.
Yeah.
This horse is actually kin to Leap Year, who won multiple times at 2. So there's precocity there.
Yep.
I think there's a little bit more than what we saw.
And there's a little experience. Gets the race where these other ones are all unproven. They're going to try for the first time. Yeah, Carson City Coin. I had a little bit of a tip on that horse early. In no real disgrace. The favorites ran 1-2 and just opened up against the rest of the field. Comes back with a good bullet workout. That experience should help the 5 Carson City Coin.
All right, we'll take a look at the 7th race. This does start the 50-cent pick 4. We head out to the Exceller at 9 furlongs. And if you hit the late pick 4 and you are a Premier Player Rewards player, excuse me, you receive a 10% additional bonus. So let's do it. I'm a Premier player. I'm going to play this today. Hopefully I get a 10% bonus. This is a $36 ticket. Going to be using 3 horses to start us off with the 2, 3, 7, and the 10. The 7, Kabang, is probably going to be decently bet. Going to try to beat that horse, though, as we move along. Victory Rally is another one who's even money on the morning line. The number 3 in race 8. So, but using the 3, 5, 6 in there will show you some stats that led me to go to other horses for protection. 4, 6 in the 9th, and then 4, 8, 11 in the finale. So $36 is the ticket. And Kabang, what do you do with this horse? Big drop in class from allowance to 16.
Kind of looks like a dead giveaway when you really look at it. Yet you got conditions to go. This horse, could probably sniff out another win or two, you would think, and maybe even at a higher level. But no, they're going to go ahead, jam right to the 16. Looks like an all or nothing. You look at the figs, pretty much an omni fig, that number. Keying up Silver Romeo. Zinger came back to win on the dirt. Silver Romeo's been competitive in allowance type races, so is the one to beat. The distance is fine. This horse looks like he wants a little bit more ground. I'm going to try to, use underneath. Coach Matthew, I think, is, to me, the main threat. So horse was real gritty when winning debut. Has come back off a little bit of time. Last two turf races, not too bad. He really had a brutal trip last time. Hung way wide the whole way. He's got enough speed to stay close, like the way that turf course played yesterday. I think he makes a move early, maybe into the far turn, and kind of grinds it out from there to be a real major player in this one.
I agree with you. I had to go 4 deep here to include Coach Matthew. He is dropping in class.
Yep.
The 2, Hibernia Fire, is another one, just beating a length at 24-1. I thought really outran his odds last time out. Going to be using him at a price, as well as the 10. He's One Wild Dude.
Yeah.
I go back and forth thinking, well, is this horse better going a distance of ground, or is he better as a closing turf sprinter?
I think he's better as a closing turf
Me too.
sprinter. I really do. I mean,
Me
he
too.
really fired home nicely with trouble 3 races back. Once again, though, is he going to throw a knockout kind of a punch in this race, which he maybe could. I mean, he's got a little bit of threats up front with slippery slope, has a little bit of speed. But he's got a quick enough move maybe to try to do that move clear around the final turn. But, favorite. What do you do? I mean, it looks all or nothing here for Kabang. But, I like Coach Matthew. I think he does well on the droppers consistently over the course of his career. He bats over 20% with these drops. So I'm going to use him as my other main horse.
At least we have the same 4, and I use those 4 in the pick 4 as we get to the 8th race. This is a maiden $40,000 event for the fillies, 6 furlongs on the main track. And we'll start off with your even money favorite, the 3 Victory Rally. Now, Alex Cintron, once again, off all his mounts today. Edgar Prado does pick up the mount on this 3-year-old filly. Now, she debuted against pretty nice horses, I'd say, and Nana Bella and Salty. And she has kind of the omni fig in this field. She's got a 65 by her speed figure in the beginning of the year, whereas other horses are kind of in the 30s, maybe some getting into the 50s. But before we get to your opinion on the filly, we'll show you a stat here for trainer Michael Matz with maiden second-time starters on the dirt sprinting. 2 for 21, 10% negative ROI, and 43% in the money. Does that make her vulnerable to you?
Obviously, no doubt. You put that right in front of me.
Sorry, Michael Matz.
I didn't dig that deep. And sorry, Jethro, for putting this horse on top. No, I'm telling you. Yeah, I should have the 3 in here on my picks. I think I might have written back 2, 4, 5, 1. It's 3, 4, 5, 1, guys. So Victory Rally. I tell you, though, I can't get past the company lines. Seeing that, I think the 5th place finisher was a Trad Brown horse that came out of that race to, win a 77 and bringing its maiden, then goes back, runs a 79, winning an allowance race, or right there in allowance. Looking at the rest of the field, who's going to jump out of the woodwork? I would think,
no picnic.
either the 4 or the 5. No picnic. The Trombetta, keys up against Lucky and Malley, but I also fear the not above love for Hammy. Kind of a gimme maybe on the grass first time out.
Isn't this like the too good to be true type of horse, though?
Yes,
right?
You're right.
Because and I applaud Michael Matz for putting her in here.
Gets
I mean,
the Maryland
it's
bred deal
Maryland
with the waiver.
bred.
Oh yeah.
She's not eligible to be claimed. She should be dominant in this field. But I picked her too. I just kind of think it's too good to be true. So in terms of the pick 4, I'm gonna try to beat her. We have the 5, no picnic, and I'll show you another stat, but this time a positive stat for Mike Trombetta with 180 plus day layoffs. With his maidens sprinting on the dirt, he is 36%. Positive ROI of $2.54, 67% in the money. This filly, if she improves and figs off of her 2-year-old races, which she surely could, she could beat the favorite.
Yep, an improvement, maybe 6 or 7 points. The other one maybe comes down or holds. Yeah, that puts her there. Shimmering Aspen, Lucky and Malibu, Compelled. She ran against the right types, and that stat right there is deadly. That's about as strong as your final Tromby.
I
right
know.
there.
I know. That was a really good one. So the 4, Not Above Love, another one that you think could take a slice of it too.
Yeah, they protected this horse last time. Going to be protected again. I think bred better for the dirt than the turf.
All right, we get to the 9th race. one of our featured races of the day, a first level allowance on the bowl game at 5.5 furlongs. Another nice turf sprint, and we'll start with your heavy favorite, the 6, City Traveler. Now, Linda Rice brings out 2 horses in here. Well, this was an impressive performance off the layoff since last August. He came back, excuse me, on a yielding going to win by 8.
Yeah, internals were okay, all things considered, over that yielding surface, and took all the pressure from the outside and looked maybe like, oh, this horse is going to kind of throw it in around the turn. All of a sudden, the last 1/8 of a mile, when this horse kind of levels off in the stride and hits another gear and kicks away to win by 8. There's not a lot of speed in this race. Pretty sharp with the blinkers, first-time blinkers. There we go, second-time blinkers, and catches the right kind of field in an A other than.
He is just moiling home there, though. But if you look, the only thing that I will say, and this is why I'm slightly going against this horse, it's the angle, right? Linda Rice brings out 2 horses. The longer-priced horse winds up winning. So that's the angle that I'm going with. But I have a little bit more, things to back up that opinion. In just a second, I'll get to her other horse. But City Traveler, that was a maiden 40 race. Only 1 horse came out of that race to break its maiden, and that was dropping to the bottom maiden 12-5 at Delaware on the dirt. So it really wasn't a strong race. Now, anytime you see a horse win by 8, you have to feel confident in their ability. But we'll take a look at Total Depends, and this was, again, going against maiden $40,000 company. This was this horse's first time out. Now, we only get, if we can show that replay on Total Depends. Oh, We'll move past that one. But anyway, first time out, this horse had a awkward beginning and almost kind of lost contact with the field after breaking. I will say the pace did collapse in front of him. They went hot. A True Gentleman, who he dead heated with, also close from off the pace. But this maiden 40 was more productive. We saw Victory Chimes come out of that race to take a maiden 40. That horse is getting into the mid-70 buyer speed figures.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Comparatively, the race is a better race. They did run on the same day. I think they might have run on the same course as well. City Traveler much quicker, but right. Total Depends made an incredible run from early adversity to get up in time. If you got that higher price angle, you came with an arsenal of a lot of stuff today.
Just
I'm telling you,
in
ready.
the late half of the card,
Yeah,
really.
you're ready.
I don't know why I have like this this second half of the card syndrome. I can't.
Here we go.
Oh, here we
There's
go.
Total
All
Depends.
right, we'll show you. So Total Depends towards the inside. So he breaks. He almost gets kind of pinballed around a little bit, and then the rider stands up in the saddle, has to sit down, pop back up, and then by that time he kind of loses contact with the rest of the field. But you could kind of see that 3-way duel in front of him. But look at the ground still, regardless, because he was way farther back than the other horse who he dead heated with. He made up a tremendous amount of ground and still a little bit green. He could have learned something from there. So he gets up just in the nick of time.
He was snaking all over the place. There didn't know whether to go in, out, but he finally got out to the outside, leveled off. True Gentleman says, I got it one. No. Zap for the tie.
Zap, exactly. Just when you think you got it, Linda Rice comes with a horse. The 1, Shandia Kia, that's another horse that I gave some interest to. The 2, Super Secret, though, you like for Lucy Houle.
And this horse is just a stone-cold sprinter on the grass, and he's held form for the most part. Put your seatbelt on. Indian Bucks, we talked about this. Those kind of horses, they've run well in allowance company, and Indian Bucks in 2 other than company. So, this horse just save a little ground around the turn. This is really going to help this horse's run. I'm not really worried about the connections. I mean, it's an inexperienced rider. Trainer doesn't win a lot. This horse just knows how to sprint on the turf.
All right, let's get to the 10th and final race, a maiden 10,000 event, 6 furlongs onto the main track. And when I initially looked at this race, I did think that the 8 Turbo Booster is probably one you want to keep on your tickets. Taking a pretty decent drop in class. You see Victory Chimes, Happy Farms, a couple of next out winners, and this is who you ultimately landed on.
I did. I just back and forth. The turf race, and this horse doesn't really want the turf. The 57-6, this horse could regress 8 or 9 points and still get it done. I think some frustrations is set in. Does look like, we said time and time again, an all or nothing type, but we just talked about Victory Chimes, Happy Farm, Clubman. None of those horses like that are in here. No. I think if anybody's tailing off more, it's Rarefied Air. I like Vegas Appeals try last time. I thought he held on quite well despite being hung out every step of the way. Back to the 6 furlong distance should work for him.
And the 11 Slim could get some play, but was the beaten favorite last time out and has a pretty tough post position given his running style.
He does. He's got it perfectly timed. I don't know if he's going to get a chance to get over. I think he gets hung out, and that might just kind of cause him to hang a little bit through the stretch.
I'll land on the 4. Little tricks going from turf to dirt for Kieran McGee, getting back to a fast main track and getting back to sprinting on the dirt. So that's where we land with the 4, 8, 11 for me. We gave you some middle pick 4, late pick 4 tickets, took you through 10 races. It is a beautiful day here at Laurel Park. Come out, enjoy the weather, enjoy the racing, and enjoy Sunday brunch.
You got it. Go get it. Get it all. I had a little bit of the cookout yesterday, too. It was good.
Yeah. Did you have food?
I did. I went down and stopped and visited the cookout. You didn't go?
I did not go.
All right.
But maybe I'll go up and find a hot dog or something.
You got it.
All right. Well, best of luck on today's 10 race program. Dave Rodman will be up next with those scratches and changes.
Good luck.